Welcome to this class. In this class, we'll be looking at a modified approach to the triangle of fraud. You can recall in a previous class, we talked about the fraud triangle as having a tripod stand of pressure or motivation, as the case may be, and secondly, with opportunity, that is the loophole of executing the fraud. Then, thirdly, the rationalization, which we said is all about justification, which is the fraudster now justifying his act. So now we are looking at some modified approaches to the fraud triangle as postulated by some other scholars. This particular one, fraud scale, was a development out of experiment of by Steve Albatry and his colleagues. It is a brainchild of from the analysis of 212 fraud cases in the early 1980s. We are not dwelling on the theory. We are just trying to take the application of the postulations and theory. So that's why we are not making emphasis on the names of the scholars and their histories. So what is a fraud scale? Under fraud scale, it's still like a typical what's it called? A typical fraud triangle, but there is a modification to it. As you can see here, we are saying what's the really, you can see this is like a fraud triangle, but then the rationalization has been modified to integrity, personal integrity. The rationalization part of it has been modified to personal integrity. The reason behind this is from the experiment, it was seen that psychologically that the higher your personal integrity, the lower the probability of justifying what is not. If you see principled people, they don't justify evil. They know evil is evil, good is good. They are black and white. They are as parallel as possible. So the higher your personal integrity, the lower the probability that you will justify or you want to rationalize fraud in any case. You know that it's not your money. There is no rationalization like, okay, they stole it too, I want to steal it. You know that they are paying you your salary. You will never justify that, okay, it's because they are not paying me enough. That's why I'm engaging in this. So, as you can see here, the fraud scale modifies assessment of rationalization by modifying the probability that a person can rationalize away inappropriate behavior. A person with high integrity will never rationalize away inappropriate behavior. That's why rationalization was taken away and it was replaced with personal integrity. So you can see here, financial pressure. It could be, yes, financial pressure. Before you can commit a financial fraud, maybe you are under a perceived or a real financial pressure. Then the opportunity still stand. Then where this was modified, the rationalization was modified to what? To a personal integrity. Higher personal integrity equals low likelihood of rationalizing inappropriate behavior. Just like I said, low personal integrity is equal to high likelihood of rationalizing inappropriate behavior. There are people with very high personal integrity. Come what may, they will rather resign than rationalizing away inappropriate behavior, or they will rather step down. They will rather escalate it, like, I don't want to be involved in this. There is nothing you will say that will make them align. We still have such people. So what are we saying on the fraud scale? Using that to now look at the fraud scale. What is the fraud scale saying? The fraud scale is just like a scale, the normal scale. Now, that if a person stand on a scale, what reads high fraud? What reads low fraud? The high fraud, that is somebody with propensity for being highly fraudulent, is a person that has high pressure or motivation. Maybe is highly pressured financially, or is highly motivated maybe with desire for greed for money. You can see, once you see greedy people, you can always quickly know maybe the taste is just too high, the way he spends money, it is highly motivated to get money, to get more and more money. He always is all about the money for him. It's not about the value, but about the money. Such people with high pressure on them or high motivation, plus people with high opportunity. When there is high opportunity, you can see how we are bringing the three legs together. The motivation or the pressure aspect, when it's high, then where the opportunity is high, that is, there is so much loophole, like we have in different areas of our governance. There is so much loophole. By the time they bring a case out, you'll be like, is there no separation of power? Does that mean the MD or the executive secretary is as well the accountant or the internal control? Nothing. Like you just dip your money hands into this, what's it called, treasury, and take whatever it's yours. Or what's happening here? That is high opportunity. When you get there, you make away with as much as you can. High opportunity. If it's in a private organization too, maybe the cash handling is poor. You can mess around with. You can even take cash out of the till and they won't know for 2 weeks. Sometimes you will return it the first. You might return it the first time, but when you see that they don't even notice if you are taking home or maybe it is stock, you can easily make away with some stock. Like for instance now, somebody running a restaurant, and without the permission of the owner, the attendants can make away with what's it called, buckets of food and all that. It won't stop there. It will escalate to something bigger until they win that business. That is an example of high opportunity for you. So when there's high pressure plus high motivation plus high opportunity, and now coupled with low personal integrity, as we said, we've replaced rationalization with what? Personal integrity. When the person in question now has low personal integrity, then the propensity for fraud is very high, very high. Red alert, very high. Red alert, high. That is the scale there. Then when we are talking about low pressure, the opposite side, when there is low pressure, the person is being well paid, is not financially pressured. One of the reasons why people go into fraud, I'm not making justification for them, is also what? When the payment is not, the salary is just nothing. Even some employers, especially in the private sector, know that what they are paying their staff, they are even surprised that they are surviving in the first instance. That's how brutal it can be. So now, when there's no little or no pressure or little or no motivation for fraud, it's not like the person is greedy. Is a person that has his own, what's it called? He doesn't have wrong ideology. He doesn't have wrong principle about money. He's not greedy about money. He doesn't have unreasonable ego and all that. Then there's low opportunity. That is the internal control. You can see we are not saying there's no opportunity. There's always an opportunity, no matter how small it is, but it's very low. That means by the time even a big predatory fraudster weighs the opportunity and the chances of consummation and getting away with the fraud, he is not convinced that he will be able to get away. That is the definition of a low opportunity. When we have an environment like that, then we now have somebody with personal high integrity. When all these align, then we have no or low fraud. That is, fraud will be very, very minimal. Fraud will be very, very minimal. That's what we have in some organizations outside Africa. For instance, now let me let you know this. If you go to some core European countries, the Netherlands, all these Sweden and all that, their fraud rates, corporate fraud, even employee fraud or white collar fraud, they are very, very small. They are very, very low, because people, not because they are the richest, but because by their nature they have high personal integrity. They really treasure their names. You can see I'm not even making mention of maybe United States or something like that, because they can be capitalist in nature as well. But all these countries, by the time they come into a country like Africa and they smell fraud, maybe something, you want to lure them into something, pay this bribe, pay this before you get license for this. That's why they don't really have much investment here. When they smell this, they just take their money away. I've experienced firsthand such things before. I've been in a situation, an organization where I experienced firsthand such thing, that these people are of high integrity. They are little motivated. You can imagine the MD of a conglomerate from that company with a company I used to work with came to my desk and was like, check, it was during the day of Boat 5 phone. And he checked my phone. He said, David, why are you using this phone? I was like, okay, which phone? This is a normal phone. It's not a big phone. He just brought out his own Curve 2. I was using Boat 5 then. He just brought out, and Boat 5 just came out. They were still selling it 180,000 naira. So he brought out his own Curve 2. And he said, what do you use this phone for? I told him there are a few things like that. Basically, so there was even no WhatsApp then. Basically to receive calls and ping and all that. That's BB Messenger. He just laughed. Everything about his work was on this small Curve 2. So they have little motivation. So he told me that why would he go for higher version if this could serve him? That is coming from a man that should be worth, in my own estimation, if I could guess right, should be worth nothing less than 50 million euro as the MD. Nothing less than 50 million euro. So what am I saying? I'm saying they have little motivation for material things. For they are not greedy. They are not greedy. They don't have high pressure. And when you all these things align, then you begin to see an environment where there is little or no fraud. So, like we said, we remove the rationalization and we added personal integrity as the third leg for our fraud triangle. That's what brought about this fraud scale. So in the next class as well, we'll be looking at some other derivations or modifications, something like fraud diamond and triangle of fraud actions in the next class.